can't look a whole lot worse than the Washington passing offense looked against San Francisco yesterday. And interestingly, they ran the ball well. Every time you looked up at that game, Alfred Morris was ripping off a huge chunk of yardage. How much of that is attributable? I will ask you, Chris, this question as well. How much of that is attributable to whatever threat of running RG3 remains? I will ask. But the point is, he got hit so often and so hard yesterday, and Rich Gannon, who was doing the game, was constantly pointing out places where there was a man, there was a play to be made, but he doesn't get the ball out quickly enough and all the rest of that. So I would ask you, on a day where they just looked terrible and their offensive line was completely dominated, at least to my eye, how much of what we saw yesterday out there was really RG3's fault?
Well, I mean, RG3 is digressing right before your eyes. If you would have told me this was the third game of his rookie season, you couldn't have fooled me. I mean, if besides the different players playing on the team that weren't there his rookie year, like I would be thinking, yeah, it's a rookie quarterback. He looks like a rookie. So his fundamentals, he's trying to be careful. He's not the athlete. He's not the run threat that he was 2 seasons ago. So they're not a very good football team. They ran the ball well enough. Pass protection was awful. I don't see how a quarterback could have succeeded yesterday. Now, could he make a couple throws here, there, a read here or there? Yes, but you know, I'm sick of the RG3 thing. They're not a good football team, and right now he's struggling in the game, and it's easy to see that there's not a lot of good football being played around him.
The thing that surprised me the most, and we talked about this earlier, and I basically said the same thing, the O-line had a really, really rough day. They had to start a rookie at left tackle, and Morgan Moses in this one, but a lot of the guys on that O-line struggled. But one thing I didn't see a lot of, CC, was we have game plans going into a game. But then, you know, what we do on the sideline is we adjust as the game's going on. I was a little surprised they didn't start moving RG3 a little bit, little half rolls, something to get him going just a little bit on the side. When you're getting hit that much, to buy a little more time to try and get on the corner just a little bit. I was surprised not to see that mixed in a bit to buy him some more time.
They're having a hard enough time with him setting his fundamentals in the pocket. So when you roll someone out, their fundamentals get worse. And if you roll him out, you can only roll him out one way. That's to his right.
Because
most quarterbacks throw better running to their right compared to rolling out to their left.
But when you say his fundamentals are going to break down, which I hear you, but isn't there a little bit of whatever it was that made Robert Griffin III RG3 that you're taking away by trying to make him into something else? You know what I mean? Like, we try and make quarterbacks, and maybe they have to be, but we try and make every quarterback, here's what Tom Brady does, and you got to do this. And maybe, even if his fundamentals aren't perfect, if he's on the move and he's creating a little something, and that's sort of the way, what his natural instinct is to do in a football game, maybe that actually works out better, even if his feet aren't in exactly the right place. Does that make no sense at all?
I mean, it makes a little bit of sense, but I think you're reaching for things. RG3 needs to master playing quarterback in the pocket. When the coach says in a press conference, he was supposed to take 3 steps and he took 1. He was supposed to take 2 steps and he took 5. Let alone trying to roll him out where you only have half the field and it's easier to defend. And he's not a run threat. If he was rolling out with a run threat, he's not no run threat. Man, RG3 is terrified to run now. And there's a reason. And there's a reason why they play in the National Football League, and there's a reason why they give the trophies to the guys who stand in the pocket and are pocket quarterbacks. That is not by accident. All right? The running gets hit out of you in the National Football League, Greeny. So stop encouraging these guys to run. All right? Russell Wilson has a great skill where he doesn't get hit square. But the rest of them, there ain't no successful runners in the NFL. And there ain't no old ones either.
But that said, I roll him. I get him on the move a little bit. Not to have him run, but to just save him from a bit of the rush. I definitely would have half rolled him yesterday on some of these to get him moving.
And again, sometimes you will hear, and I would defer to both of you guys on this, I will hear people say it's the quarterback's job sometimes with the protection. But what was clear to me watching the game, they couldn't protect him yesterday. For whatever reason, they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So if you can't do that, you got to do something, because they were just sending him back there, and he's just getting smothered. And he has, I don't know how to define it.
Greeny, they're just one play away from winning the game. It's not like they're back behind by 2 scores.
No, I know.
I mean, their defense is holding them in the game. All they need is one, and you're trying to. You only got
winning
so many,
a lot of the game. Yeah.
You only have so many bodies. It's not like you can put a new offensive lineman in there. You can't put a new center in there. The receivers are who they are.
No, he's asking what adjustments.
I'm asking, is there anything you could do other than what you were doing? Because what you were doing just wasn't working. Again, if they were running the ball. Now, why are they running the ball so effectively against that? I mean, if their offensive line is struggling so much, or struggling in pass protection, what did Morris run for? He had well over 100 yards.
Ran for 125 carries, 21 carries, 125 yards.
So, I mean, they were doing something. You got to do something. Every time I looked up, he was getting annihilated. I mean, he was getting hit. He doesn't just get hit. He gets hit. Yeah, incredibly
he doesn't
hard.
Take hits the best way. That's again why I say I would have put him on the move. Something to get him to save him a bit.
What is it about him that he's doing, whether it's him or whatever, that he seems to take hits very square in a way other quarterbacks do not? He gets hit either directly in the back or right, as you would say, in the chops, more than a lot of other quarterbacks who at least sort of feel does he not feel it coming? Who is it that said that earlier this morning? That he doesn't feel the pressure. Oh, it's Herman.
It was Herm, yeah.
Who said he doesn't seem to feel it coming because it almost looks like it takes him by surprise. Whatever it is, he takes brutal hits. I mean, you want to talk about him not running and not getting hurt. He's going to get hurt just standing there, Chris.
Yeah. His instincts before contact, he has not developed that innate ability to be able to avoid. That Fran Tarkenton, the Russell Wilson play against Arizona where they have him nailed 15 yards deep in the backfield. He pirouettes out, finds Lynch on the left sideline by himself for a critical first down. RG3, since he's been hurt, we haven't seen that.